Hello, everyone, dear viewers of the channel. I am Helena, the guardian of secrets, a researcher of mystical phenomena, and here with me is Vadim, a historian interested in folk culture.
And together, we delve into the depths of Ukrainian mystical stories, aiming to understand what truly lies beneath the surface of ancient beliefs. Today, Helena has brought us to a rather chilling topic, if I'm not mistaken.
Indeed, Vadim. Today we journey to the Witch's Lake, water curses and sacrifices. Imagine a place hidden deep within an ancient forest, where the water is unnaturally dark, shrouded in mist, and a profound silence hangs heavy in the air. This isn't just a lake, it's a repository of forgotten whispers, ancient rites, and potent magic. In Ukrainian folklore, such lakes are often called witches' lakes, Mavlachi ozera, or simply cursed waters.
Mavlachi ozera, an intriguing name. From a historical perspective, these would typically be remote, often deep and stagnant bodies of water, perhaps bogs or oxbow lakes, which, due to their inaccessibility and sometimes unusual natural phenomena like marsh gas or cold currents, would naturally evoke fear and suspicion. It's easy to see how a place like that could be assigned a malevolent spirit or associated with dark practices.
But it's more than just natural fear, Vadim. The legends speak of witches, powerful healers or sorceresses who would conduct their most potent rituals on the shores or even in these lakes. They would draw power from the water, brew their potions, and yes, cast their most terrible curses there. It was believed that the very essence of these lakes absorbed their magic, making the water itself an active agent of their will.
When you speak of curses being cast, Helena, are we talking about specific individuals being targeted or more general ill wishes on communities or lands? And how would these curses manifest through the water?
Both. A witch might curse a rival, an enemy, or an entire village. The curses could be insidious, affecting fertility, bringing disease, causing crops to fail, or even leading to tragic drownings. One legend from Policia tells of a girl who scorned a local sorcerer. He went to a particular dark lake, whispered her name into a jar of its water, sealed it, and threw it back in. Within days, she fell gravely ill, wasting away as if her life force was being slowly drawn into the lake's depths. Her family eventually found a wise woman who advised them to retrieve the jar and smash it, and only then did the girl begin to recover.
That's a vivid story. From a sociological standpoint, such tales often served as deterrents against challenging authority figures, or perhaps even as explanations for illnesses that baffled ancient medicine. The wise woman or counterspell could be seen as a form of ancient psychotherapy, providing hope and a perceived solution to an otherwise inexplicable ailment, leveraging the power of belief. As for the drownings, deep, cold lakes often have strong undercurrents or sudden drops in depth that can easily claim unwary swimmers, especially in areas unfamiliar to them.
But the belief was so strong, Vadim. People didn't just drown, they were taken. The water spirits, the rusalki or malvki, were inextricably linked to these lakes. In places where women, particularly unbaptized infants or young girls who died before marriage, drowned, it was said their spirits became rusalki, beautiful yet dangerous, luring men to their watery graves. And at the heart of many witches' lakes lies a darker secret, the practice of human sacrifice, or at least ritualistic offerings intended to appease these powerful entities or to amplify a witch's spell.
Human sacrifice is a strong claim, Helena. While archaeological evidence of ritualistic offerings, including animal and sometimes human remains, has been found in ancient bogs and wetlands across northern Europe, often associated with Iron Age societies, it's crucial to distinguish between pre-Christian pagan practices and the Christianized folklore we're discussing. In later periods, sacrifice might have evolved into symbolic offerings, valuable objects, grain, or perhaps even animals, rather than human lives. There's also the tragic reality of infanticide or exposure, sometimes forced by extreme poverty or societal pressure, which could later be mythologized as offerings to the lake.
But the stories persist. There's a particular legend of a village tormented by a drought year after year. The crops withered, the animals died, and the wells dried up. Desperate, the villagers consulted an old witch who lived by the cursed lake. She told them the water spirits were angry, demanding a pure heart to replenish the springs. The saddest version of the tale says a young, innocent girl, the purest in the village, was chosen, adorned with flowers, and led to the lake's edge, where she walked into the murky water, never to return. And, as the story goes, the rains came that very night.
That's a powerful narrative, tapping into the archetypal scapegoat. It highlights a desperate community's response to an existential threat. Historically, during periods of extreme environmental hardship, people sought any means to understand and control their environment. Such sacrifices could have been coerced, or perhaps even a form of ritual suicide by an individual willing to sacrifice themselves for the community, though it's more likely a fictionalized account to explain the return of rain. Often, when we examine these accounts, we find that the sacrifice was either a symbolic act, a tragic accident, or a desperate act of violence misinterpreted through a mystical lens. The collective memory then shapes it into a legend that reinforces a community's core beliefs about cause and effect.
You see it as a coping mechanism, a cultural artifact. I see it as a profound connection to the spiritual realm, a raw expression of humanity's interaction with forces beyond their control. Think of the power that belief held. The sheer weight of an entire village believing in this act, praying for its success, would, in my mind, imbue that lake with an immense, almost tangible magical energy. It's not just about the act, but the belief surrounding it.
And that's where the overlap truly is, isn't it? The power of collective belief is undeniable. It shapes behavior, creates social structures, and influences how events are remembered and reinterpreted. For instance, the symbolic sacrifices made to lakes for good harvest or protection often involved throwing valuable items, coins, jewelry, sometimes even tools. These were offerings, not necessarily human sacrifices, but they carried the same weight of intent and hope. This practice persisted for centuries, even after the advent of Christianity, often integrated into new rituals.
Exactly. And what about the curses related to objects cast into these lakes, like a love charm gone wrong or a vengeful act? I heard a tale about a jilted lover who threw a lock of her hair, entwined with a rival's ribbon, into a witch's lake, muttering ancient words. It was said that the rival's happiness and even her very beauty began to fade, as if being slowly dissolved by the lake's dark magic.
A classic example of sympathetic magic, Helena. The idea that by affecting an object connected to a person, you affect the person themselves. Psychologically, if the rival knew about such a curse, the power of suggestion alone could lead to anxiety, self-neglect, or even psychosomatic symptoms, manifesting the curse's perceived effects. And if she didn't know, it was simply attributed to the curse after the fact if her fortunes changed. It's a testament to the human mind's capacity to create meaning and causality, even where none objectively exist.
But sometimes the consequences were too direct, too uncanny to be mere coincidence. The inexplicable misfortunes that followed those who dared to disrespect a witch's lake or retrieve something from its depths without proper ritual. Farmers who tried to drain such lakes often met with tragic accidents, or their cattle would sicken and die. There's a sense that these waters demand respect, that they possess a consciousness.
And the logical explanation for that, of course, is that attempting to drain a large body of water is a significant engineering challenge, often undertaken with rudimentary tools in historical contexts. Accidents such as collapses, floods, or encounters with dangerous marsh gases would be common. As for cattle sickening, stagnant water is a breeding ground for various pathogens. If livestock drank from it or grazed nearby, illness is an unfortunate yet predictable outcome. The consciousness you speak of is perhaps the collective understanding of these natural dangers, personified to add weight to cautionary tales.
But for you, it's always science and history. But for those who lived these stories, who believed with every fiber of their being, it was pure magic. It was the whisper of the Maufka in the reeds, the chilling touch of the Rusalka's hand, the old witch's power simmering in the depths. Losing that emotional connection, that deep-seated fear and respect for nature's mysterious power, means losing a part of our ancestral memory, a piece of the Ukrainian soul.
I agree that these stories are invaluable for understanding the cultural psychology and historical context of our ancestors. They offer a window into their worldview, their fears, their hopes. My role isn't to dismiss the emotional or spiritual significance, but to differentiate between the historical practices, the natural phenomena, and the powerful symbolism that evolved around them. The Witch's Lake tells us not just about witches, but about humanity's relationship with a powerful, unpredictable environment. It teaches us about ancient agrarian anxieties, the role of women in society, and the enduring power of narrative.
And the enduring power of nature, Vadim. The lake, in its silent, dark majesty, remains. It holds its secrets, whether they be ancient offerings, forgotten curses, or just the quiet reflections of generations of human fears and hopes.
It's a perfect convergence of the natural world and the human imagination, a place where the tangible and the intangible weave together, creating legends that still resonate with us today.
Exactly. And we encourage all of you, our listeners, to share your own stories or regional legends about witches' lakes or cursed waters in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspectives.
Indeed, your insights add immensely to our understanding of these fascinating cultural phenomena. So,